Good evening, your ladies and gentlemen. If you could all be seated so we can start shortly. I will request you be seated. Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Excellency and ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the curtain raiser for the Clothing Manufacturers Association of India, CMAI. CMAI's latest initiative, the Brands of India Show, is going to be held in November this year from the 27th to the 29th of November. I would like to start by welcoming you all, and especially our chief guest, His Excellency Ambassador Sanjay Sudhir, India's ambassador to the UAE. And, thank you. And our guest of honor, Mr. Ashraf Ali, Executive Director of Lulu. I would like to start by saying a few words about CMAI. CMAI is a pioneer and the most representative association of Indian apparel industry for 60 years. It has a membership of over 4,000 manufacturers and 20,000 retailers. With its headquarters in Mumbai, CMI also has branches in New Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, and Surat. To tell us more about this amazing association, I'd like to invite the president of CMI on stage, Mr. Rajesh Masand. Please give him a warm welcome on stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of CMAI, I welcome our chief guest, His Excellency Mr. Sanjay Sudhir, Ambassador of India to UAE. I also welcome our guest of honor, Shri Ashraf Ali, Chief Executive Director of Lulu Group, our business associates and friends from media who have come here to support us. I would also like to welcome the office bearers of Texmas and Mr. Diego Cortes and Rakesh Nihalani from World Trade Center, who have been very supportive in this endeavor. And also Mr. Paul Booth from Dubai Global Connect. Friends, CMAI is the oldest and the largest association of CMAI is the oldest and the largest association representing the interest of apparel industry and brands. Formed in 1963, CMAI is the pioneer association which has been constantly working closely with the government for the benefit and development of Indian apparel business. CMAI was the first association in India to take an export delegation outside India, and that too in the late 1960s. We were fortunate to have a visionary as our founders. CMAI is well known for NGF, our National Garment Fair, which is held twice in the year. Our last edition of NGF, which was the 77th one, was spread across 850,000 square feet, and we had 1,200 participants. We also hold two other events. One is the Fabric Accessories and Beyond Show, which we call as FAB. That is where we do the sourcing of raw material, and I'm sure in coming years it would be at par with all the leading exhibitions in the world. We also have an exhibition called VSF, where vendor sourcing fair, where the vendors sell their production capacity to the factories. As our CSR activity, we have skilled 45,000 tailors with support of Government of India under the Integrated Skill Development Scheme. And we also have a training center in Bhiwandi. As a responsible organization for a cleaner and sustainable environment, we have launched SURE project, which stands for Sustainable Resolution, amongst the Indian brands, and are working closely with Government of India to drive the sustainable movement in apparel industry. As we are celebrating our 60th year, we are having our first international garment fair outside India. The very first edition will showcase 250 brands and is to be held at WTC in Dubai on 27, 28, 29th of November. It will be first time that so many brands are coming under one roof. 99% of apparel exports from India are under white label. So we are trying to make a concerted effort to promote and sell brands of India. So, and you may ask, why Dubai? I would like to welcome Mr. Marwan Al-Mari, Regional Director, Asia at Dubai Chambers. Thank you. Friends, you may ask, why did we choose Dubai as the first destination for our brands of India? UAE has a huge Indian diaspora with similar taste and known brand. UAE is the third largest trade partner of apparel exports from India. 8% of Indian apparel export is made to UAE. Dubai is the gateway to Africa and Europe. The recent signing of CEPA between India and UAE, proactive UAE government which promotes Indian business. Hence, Dubai is our preferred destination. Friends, I request your wholehearted support in making the brands of India show a grand success. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh, for that informative and insightful speech. I'd like to welcome Mr. Yaqub Ali with us. Thank you for joining us. Now we will be playing a short video about brands of India. So please relax and enjoy the video.
CMAI, the pillar of India's apparel industry, having over 4,000 members and serving more than 20,000 retailers in India, is proud to present Brands of India, a first-of-its-kind organized effort to showcase top apparel brands from India in Dubai, where innovation meets commerce with support by the Embassy of India and Texmas. Over 250 Indian brands will showcase their collections. These will include menswear, ladieswear and kidswear to wholesalers and retailers, distributors and importers, as well as departmental chains from the Middle East and North Africa at the Dubai World Trade Center. Partnership Agreement, CEPA. We're unlocking new possibilities. The Indian apparel industry has evolved over the last few decades and is now a vibrant and dynamic sector that has made a significant impact both nationally and internationally. Indian craftsmanship inspires designers and consumers around the world, making it a prominent player in the global fashion landscape. Indian designers showcase their collections at most international fashion weeks and events. Indian apparel brands are witnessing demand not just from the Indian diaspora, but also from other Asian countries. Brands of India is the largest showcase of Indian apparel brands on a global stage. The list includes brands like Spica, Louis Philippe, Diffusion, Soch, Ginny and Johnny Dollar, Touch, Bonsoir, A la Mode, Story, Satya Fusion, and many more. We have invited retailers, wholesalers, representatives from departmental chains, agents, distributors, and importers with a presence in the Middle East and North African region to offer access to a treasure trove of unique, high-quality Indian clothing and textiles. The fair will showcase top 250 plus apparel brands from India. This will present an exclusive opportunity to discover and source popular Indian apparel brands that are creating new trends in the markets. Brands of India is bringing together under one roof the most popular apparel brands in menswear, women's wear, and kids wear ranging from Indian ethnic to Western and fusion wear. Whether you are an importer, retailer, wholesaler, distributor, or part of a departmental chain, you can network with Indian manufacturers.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
I must say, being of Indian origin, it makes me very proud that Indian brands are diversifying and moving across the globe. And the craftsmanship of Indian textiles is really beautiful, so that's wonderful. Now we'll be having our panel up on stage with us. So I'd like to invite Mr. Rajesh Masand, President of CMI, on stage, please. I'd also like to invite... Can you hear me? Thank you. I'd also like to invite Mr. Jayesh Shah, Chairman of CMI, on stage, please, with us. I'd like to invite Mr. Rahul Mehta, Chief Mentor of CMI, on stage, please. Please all welcome and put your hands together to honor our esteemed chief guest, His Excellency Ambassador Mr. Sanjay Sudhir, and I'd also like to have your presence on stage with us, please. Thank you. And I would like to also invite our guest of honor, Mr. Ashraf Ali, Executive Director of Lulu Group, on stage with us, please. Thank you. Thank you for all joining us. You please may all be seated. Thank you. Now we're going to facilitate our chief guest and guest of honor. So Mr. Rajesh Masand would like to facilitate our chief guest, His Excellency Ambassador Sanjay Sudhir. Sean, please. That's a lovely gesture. Now, Mr. Jayesh Shah would like to facilitate our guest of honor, Mr. Ashraf Ali. Thank you so much. Just if you take your pictures, you may be seated. Thank you so much. I would like Mr. Ashraf Ali to say a few words, if possible, please. We have a handheld mic. You can come here, or we? Okay. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. His Excellency, the Ambassador of India, Excellency from the Chamber of Commerce, Rajesh Masnath, President of CMI, Jayesh Shah, Chairman of CMI, esteemed dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all, and warm namaste to you all. It is indeed an honor and privilege to stand before you today as the guest of honor for the CMI curtain raiser for Indian brands. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. This event holds great significance as it showcases the excellence, innovation, indomitable spirit of Indian brands. It is a testament to the remarkable journey of Indian entrepreneurship and the exceptional quality of products and services that our nation has to offer. Looking ahead, the opportunities for Indian brands are boundless. The world is taking notice of the Make in India initiative, which has gained a tremendous momentum in the recent years. Indian brands are becoming synonymous in innovation, sustainability, and social responsibility. Our businesses are not just profit-driven, they are purposeful driven with a committed to making a positive impact on society. The UAE has been a valued partner for India, and together we can explore new avenues for collaboration and growth. Dubai, with its global prominence, serves as an ideal platform for showcasing various events and exhibitions to the world. And I am confident that Brands of India show will also be a great success. As many of you are aware, the Lulu Group has been importing high-quality apparel from India for all our hypermarkets in GCC. Let us seize this moment to strengthen our resolve to elevate the brands to even greater heights to the global stage. Once again, I extend my gratitude to CMI for hosting this remarkable event and wishing all the best to the 250 exhibitors at the Brands of India show. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Ashraf Ali, for that informative and insightful speech. I would like now our chief guest, His Excellency, Ambassador Mr. Sanjay Sudhir, to please say a few words if you could. Thank you so much.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. At the outset, I must convey my heartiest congratulations to CMI to take this wonderful initiative. I think this is a significant step in the direction of promoting Indian brands in apparel overseas. So I convey my best wishes to all of you on the dais and your whole team that you have chosen the right time, the right venue to launch Brands of India. I say the right time because only last year we signed the historic CEPA agreement with the UAE, which gives us a clear 5% tariff advantage vis-a-vis imports from other countries. And you would have seen that in the wake of CEPA last year, our exports have gone up by about 19%. I wish our apparel exports also had the same hike. It did not, but I presume that a lot of work is being done, and I think that leaves a lot of scope, a lot of space for you to work up and promote your brands, because today it's all about projecting your brands, promoting your brands so that the world comes and recognizes it. And I think Dubai is the right place for that. You've already mentioned in your opening remarks about the importance of Dubai as an important transshipment hub, as an important place, not only for imports for this country, but a great window for Europe, a great window for Africa. And that's why UAE is today one of our largest trading partner. Today, UAE is our third largest trading partner. We are UAE's second largest trading partner. And last year, our exports to this country netted about $85 billion, and that's a big amount. And our trade is just one part of the larger and expanding relationship which you are all witnessing in the last several years. I'm very sure that we have much more potential to export our apparel brands. The reason is that what CMAI is trying to do here in Dubai through Brands of India is very much in sync with the Government of India priorities. You would have all heard about the 5F vision of the Prime Minister, which talks about farm to fiber to factory to fashion and taking it overseas to the world. And I think if you add another F to it, fire, I think you have to just fire up that whole passion to bring all these things overseas. Ashraf Bhai just mentioned about Make in India. I think you're all engaged in promoting Make in India at your end. But I think now we need to also focus equally on promoting our brands overseas. You mentioned in your opening remarks about how much contribution our apparel industry is making to the global brands. But why not promote our own brands? Because today we have gained that kind of confidence, that kind of maturity when our brands can stand on themselves, on their own strength. I think we need to take that step. And with Brands of India scheduled for November, I think that very significant step is being taken. And I'm also very delighted that Government of India has taken this initiative of PM Mitra Parks. I think that will also strengthen the manufacturing side of apparels in India. But at the same time, we need to promote these brands. And when it comes to high fashion, high design, India has been a center of creativity for centuries. It has to just translate into figures, export figures, quantities. That's very important. Last few days, you would have seen India successfully hosted G20. And that was a great occasion for us to showcase to the world what India means, not only in political terms or economic terms, but also in terms of cultural, the cultural ethos of the country, in terms of aesthetics. So you're all, many of you are aware that about 200 meetings took place in 60 different cities. Because we have that strength to host meetings in 60 cities, which are so diverse, which represent different, I would say, different art forms, different aesthetics, and are very different experience for the people who come to participate in these meetings. I will not focus on the political success of G20 or the economic success, which indeed was huge, which you all know. And there again, there was this very important component of the UAE being a part of the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. And I think that's another thing which aids our exports in all areas, including in apparel. But what I want to mention is that in the last few days, you would have seen pictures capture how the whole of the city of Delhi has been painted in very vibrant colors, in very, very vibrant designs, all bringing out the creativity of our artists. The creativity of our artists combined with the labor of our hardworking people and the work of our entrepreneurs, I think is a great combination to do justice to the brands which have grown in the last few decades. With that, once again, I wish CMI all success for the first edition of Brands of India. I'm sure this is the first one, but I'm sure you'll keep coming back again, because Dubai is the place which is perhaps the best platform for showcasing anything, whether it's food or engineering products or electronics or apparel. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your positive and encouraging words, and also to Mr. Ashraf. Thank you, both of you. Now, we are going to be having a coffee table book, which has been produced to inaugurate this very special event. Before we unveil, I would like to also invite Mr. Rohit Munjal, Vice President of CMI, to join us on stage, please. I'd also like to have Mr. Ankur Gadia, Treasurer of CMI, to join us on stage, please. And Mr. Mohan Sadwani, Executive Director of CMI, to join us on stage. We will now be unveiling the coffee table book, and we would request His Excellency. And one more person, please, Mr. Janensha, to join us on stage, please. Thank you. Thank you. Now we'd request, we'll be giving out these beautiful coffee table books. And now we'll have His Excellency, Ambassador Mr. Sanjay, to honor with the unveiling of the book, please. You can have a browse through the books, and maybe later we can all have a take a look. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rohit, Mr. Anka, Mr. Mohan, Mr. Jinesh. Thank you. If you'd all like to be seated, yeah, you can. You'd like to be seated. You'd like to be seated. Yeah, thank you. We would like to invite the media to ask some questions to our panel. As His Excellency Ambassador Mr. Sanjay Sudhir has another engagement, we request only a few questions, please, and to keep it brief. Thank you for understanding. We will be having a high tea afterwards where you can speak to the officers of CMI. So, yes, please, I open it to the media. And like I say, please keep it brief and a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation. My name is Mukhtar Rustam from 9C News. I have two questions. The first one is strategical, and the second question regarding the event. Past few days, there were a big summit, G20 in India, and they agreed to make economic corridor. They name it IMEC. So would you please, can you elaborate how this corridor, economic corridor, will affect for the trading between India and other countries? This is my first question. My second question regarding the event itself. What's the services you prepared to make the investors or dealers or even the public, they will visit the event, making this visit more value and to make their experience more value and more benefits? Thank you.
I thank you for your question about G20 and the IMEC corridor. And as you all know, global trade is always sort of assisted by trade routes. Historically, we have all heard about the Silk Route, and after that, of course, so much else has happened. But today, what we realize, particularly after COVID, is that global value chains can sometimes be very vulnerable. And I think for that, to strengthen global value chains, we have to not only look at the production ends, but we have to look at the supply as well. And when it comes to supply, we have to have very robust trade routes. There are a lot of existing trade routes, but we have encountered the vulnerability of trade routes. I will not go into the specifics, but some of the very established trade routes, for example, one of the established trade routes actually got blocked because of one ship. We don't want to land in that situation again and again. So this initiative, which has been taken primarily by India, UAE, Saudi, and the United States some month back, is a path-breaking initiative. And this has a buy-in from a large number of countries. Formally launched in G20 on the 9th. This is a collaboration between India, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, US, Germany, France, Italy, and the EU. What they're talking about is building a corridor, a new corridor, which starts with shipping and then rail lines across the Middle East through UAE and Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and then opening up at Haifa into the Mediterranean Sea and connecting Europe. So this is something which was not there before, but will certainly will provide a very viable means for cheaper, because we also have to cut costs on transportation. We have to decarbonize. So keeping all those factors in mind, I think this is a great opportunity. In the last few years, you have heard about I2U2 and some of the infrastructure projects which have been undertaken at I2U2. G20, under the G20 umbrella, this is the big one which has been announced now, which will involve hundreds of billions of dollars. And also, more important than the billions of dollars is the participation of a lot of countries to come together and create new opportunities. This is going to help trade across the board, whether it is, all kinds of commodities. And I'm sure that brands of India will also ride on this and reach out to newer parts of the world.
Brands of India. In India, we have brands which are, I would not say they are of the size or scale of the leading brands of the world, but they have the capability to become the best of the best in the world. The brands which are performing very well in India, they have some presence in the Middle East, not to the extent they would desire. So we are trying to give them a platform where they can showcase their innovation, their creation to the buyers. We are inviting the buyers from GCC countries. We are targeting Saudi, and we are also working for Africa. There is a possibility we would get some buyers from Europe also. As I mentioned earlier, we have our National Garment Fair, which we hold it twice in a year. There also, though we say it's a national garment fair, a domestic garment fair, we get about 300 buyers from abroad. Okay. So our members are equipped, are experienced enough to work in international markets. To promote our show, we are offering tickets to preferred retailers or preferred buyers. And I can assure one thing, the brands which are going to showcase in Brands of India, sooner or later, they would be among at the top retailers in the whole of UAE at least. Thank you.
Shanir from INS, Indo-Asian News Service. So the brand of India, which you are bringing, have a network of more than 250 brands. So do you have any plan to bring the ethnic brands also who don't have this opportunity to explore or to showcase on the international platforms like remote in Odisha, in India, like every state has its own identity in terms of clothes and ethnicity?
I think you meant ethnic wear, right? Yeah, so essentially, the marketing has moved on from trying to sell what you are manufacturing to manufacturing what people want to buy. So if the consumers are wanting to buy ethnic wear, that is what our manufacturers will produce. But the reason why we have chosen Dubai as one of the first stops of this new journey, which we hope will be a long-lasting journey, is that there is a great deal of Indian diaspora in these countries who will, at least on festival occasions, still go back to their ethnic roots and ethnic wear. So yes, amongst these 260 brands that we have, there are certain brands who are purely ethnic wear in their product profile. There are some who have both ethnic as well as Western. But certainly there is a large percentage, a significant percentage in our membership who specializes in manufacturing ethnic wear. So whilst we are largely sort of representing the ready-to-wear and the ready-made garments, which are typically Western, ethnic wear is also an equally important part.
Good evening. Congratulations on the curtain raiser. So I just want to know what is the export figure, the export of the clothing. You have any figure idea how much you are going to bring it to the Middle East?
Well, India's total apparel exports are anywhere between $14 billion to $16 billion. They were about $16.5 billion at the time before COVID. It had obviously come down. Last year was about $14.5 billion, of which exports to the UAE last year were approximately $1 billion. So we are still a very significant exporter of apparel to UAE. And UAE is also an important part of our export basket. But as His Excellency the Ambassador mentioned, I think we still have a long way to go. And this is an effort in that direction, that we believe that there is scope to not just double but even triple our exports to the UAE, and which is what we are hoping to do. And this is just the first show that we are having. We have already booked the Dubai World Trade Center for the next 3 years. So hopefully we are in it for a long run. And we are very confident, CMA is very confident that we will have a very, very significant growth of our exports to UAE.
Mu'taz Agha from Time Arabia magazine. First of all, how do you see the future of the Indian clothing industry in the face of global competition, especially India's neighboring countries? This is the first question. Second is, how much does the Indian clothing industry contribute to the Indian GDP? Gross domestic product.
Sorry, could you just repeat the questions, please? The first one, I think, is the future of the Indian clothing industry.
In the face of the competition, international one, especially like Bangladesh and the other countries neighboring. The second one is, how much does the Indian clothing industry contribute to the Indian GDP, something like gross domestic product?
So, well, the future of the Indian clothing industry is definitely bright. Fortunately for us, this is one product which does not go obsolete. People will continue to wear clothes. The type of clothes can vary, but they will wear clothes. India is one of the few countries which has the entire supply value chain, from farming to fiber to fabric to garments. So that places us in a very advantageous position. The other advantage is that our communication skills, English is almost our second language. So most buyers, international buyers, find it easy to communicate with us and to deal with us. And we are also known for our creativity and especially the handwork that we specialize in. You are right that some of our neighboring countries have overtaken us, particularly Bangladesh. You have to understand that they have got a huge advantage of duty-free imports to some of the European countries. But that is also likely to last now only for a few years. What India will have to do is to move away from just competing on price, and we will have to start competing on other factors such as sustainability. And that is one of the projects that CMI is also taking up. So therefore, yes, we have sort of slowed down in our exports in the global market for a few years, but we are seeing the turnaround, and we are very confident that we will regain our position of number 2 or number 3 in the world in the coming years. As far as, sorry, what is the second question? Yeah, so I won't have the exact figures, but yes, it is a significant portion, and we are definitely more than GDP. I would look at our share in the employment of the in a total economy. We employ about 12 million people in our clothing industry, leaving aside textiles. I'm only talking of clothing. And after agriculture, we are the highest employers in the country. So I think because ours is a low capital intensive industry, it is not so much our percentage of share in the GDP, but our percentage of share in the overall employment, which is critical. And that's what our contribution is. So that, I think, is the important factor.
I would just like to add out here, India's export to the world in apparel has primarily been cotton-based. So when we are talking about cotton-based, we always had the limitation of supplying only one season a year. We did not have too much infrastructure or the capability in man-made. But post-COVID, that realization has come to India that we need to improve upon our man-made things. So the government of India has introduced an PLI scheme, which is the production-linked incentive scheme, which we are trying to promote more of man-made. It's just a matter of few years. Once we have the capability of that, I am 100% sure India's future is going to be bright in apparel. Number 2 will not be a question, it would be certain. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll have to end the questions there, I'm afraid, but you will have an opportunity later. Now, I'd like to welcome a very special guest. We are honored to have him here, Mr. Yaqub Al-Ali, the Executive Director and Private Advisor to the Office of His Highness Sheikh Juma bin Maktoum Al Maktoum. Please, would like to honor you on stage. Thank you, if we have you with us. And we'd like Mr. Rahul Mehta to facilitate him. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Yaqub Al-Ali. Thank you for being here. Right, we'd now like to have a vote of thanks from the Vice President Chairman, Mr. Jayesh Shah. So we'd like his vote of thanks.
Respected Chief Guest, His Excellency Sanjay Sudhir, our very dear guest of honor, Sri Ashraf Ali Saab, captains of the Dubai textile and apparel industry, officers of the Indian Embassy, dignitaries from various consulates, friends from the media, and my colleagues and friends. Today marks the curtain raiser of a very special chapter in CMAI 60 years history. The first ever Brands of India show and the largest exhibition of Indian brands outside India in the history of apparel industry. It is therefore a very special day, made even more special by the gracious presence of His Excellency, the Indian Ambassador to the UAE, Sri Sanjay Sudhir. Sir, it is indeed a privilege and an honor for us at CMI to have you as a chief guest. Your immediate acceptance of our invitation is an indication of your support to CMI. CMI's initiative to market Indian brands for the first time in the global markets. Thank you, sir. Our thanks also to Ashraf Ali Sahib, with whose group nearly all leading manufacturers in India have a deep relationship. Your presence today will further strengthen the bond between the Indian apparel industry and the Lulu Group. Thank you, sir. Constraint of time does not permit me to individually thank all the leaders and captains of the industry who have gathered here today in support of our event. But we at CMI owe a huge gratitude to all of you for your presence and support. My thanks to my friends in the media and all my colleagues and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jayesh. I would like to thank all of you for coming and your presence, and especially our chief guest, our guest of honor. Our guest of honor would like to thank you all. We will be having a high tea, so we welcome you to all join us outside for high tea. And while you're enjoying the light refreshments, the CMI officials will be delighted to interact and if you have any further questions. Thanks again, once again, for your presence. Good night, good evening. We just need one group photo, if you don't mind. Sorry. If you just bear with us, we'll have one more group photo. You want everyone to come? We'd like all the CMI officials. We'll be having a group photo. And Mr. Yaqub Al-Ali will have you with us. Thank you, your presence with us. Our chief guest and guest of honor. Yes.
Of course, anytime. It's my pleasure to be here and support you guys, especially for your November event. Yes, I'll be especially